We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tịnh duyên diệu vào luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạt là tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Nan Thô Sư Chế Đô Ye A La Hờ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xế. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Già Đà Già La Hà Đế Tam Miệu Tham Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻的受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Jing Liang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good no advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识、弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa Thượng Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sĩ Thích Ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 18th of August 2023. We're here at Way Mountain Temple to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. We are right now on slide 517. Just to recapitulate, to remind you, we're discussing, the Master Jing Liang is discussing the three teachings. When back then, the Dharma masters decided to classify and analyze the Buddha's teaching. Some of them chose 2 teachings, 3 teachings, 4 teachings, and so forth, 5 teachings, and so forth. And so Master Jing Liang is going through some of these representative scholars and Dharma masters who chose to dissect the teachings that way. And so it's a very nice survey for us to see an overall, have an overall view of how the Dharma masters learn about the Buddha Dharma. So here we're talking about the division of the Buddha's teaching into three types. And what are they? They are very popular, very well-known way of classification, gradual teaching, sudden teaching, and perfect teaching. Okay? Now, most of us have heard about gradual and sudden. Okay? The perfect, I heard of it, but I'm not quite familiar until I started to read Master Jing Liang's analysis. So it's very helpful for me personally as well. As a reminder, what is gradual? Gradual teaching is that you go step by step, very much like your cultivation. The cultivation is measured by your level of samadhi. Okay, whatever you do will be reflected in your level of concentration or samadhi. Okay, none of us is above it. Okay, these are the markers for our spiritual paths. So you reach a certain samadhi level, that's how far you got in the spiritual path. And that's a very important milestone, because lifetime after lifetime, you'll be able to reach that mile mark, that mile mark, pretty easily. Okay? So the gradual thing is, the gradual teaching is that the teaching designed to help you improve step by step by step. Okay? And he explained it as the Buddha first taught us about non-emptiness, or emptiness, I'm sorry. He first taught about emptiness or marklessness, meaning that everything we see is basically empty. If you have wisdom, you see that everything that you attach to is really nonsense. Everything. Okay? And so that's marklessness. And then, if you reach that level, the peak of the marklessness teaching, then you'll be free from your ego. Why? Because it's your ego who insists on attaching to things, to everything. And that's why the teaching of marklessness is designed to help you shed all your egos. And you don't know what it's like? It's wonderful to have no ego, to be free at last. Okay? Because your ego dictates everything you do in life, every single day, from the moment you're born until your last breath. It's your ego who is in control. Okay? And so the Buddha came along and said, you guys are suffering so much because of your ego. You enjoy a little bit because your ego, but most of the time you're suffering because your ego can't take it. Sounds familiar? Huh? It's too much. Mom is too much. Sister is too much. Sisters are too much. God. Okay? And so I wish I'd run away and come to the temple. Okay? And so that's what happens. And we suffer because of the existence of our ego. So Buddhism says you have no wisdom because you still have an ego. Not until you're able to shed your ego, then you are considered to be confused. Once you shed your ego, it's because the ego nature, the ego attaches. Sounds familiar? What do you want? Look at yourself. The Koreans are attached to what? I'm told. What? What are Koreans attached to? Barbecue. Kimchi. Huh? Soju. Beers. Yeah? Sounds familiar? In Chinese, what are you attached to? Politics. Taiwan. Okay? What about Russians? Beef stroganoff. No. I'm hungry. That's why I'm thinking food. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. Okay? So that's why the ego attaches. So that's why you have no wisdom. Your attachment causes your suffering, causes you to suffer. So to have wisdom means that you're free from suffering, and that's very nice. Let me tell you. Sometimes happiness, worldly people define as possessing worldly things. Actually, your possession weighed on you. Makes you worry. Yes? Anyone? The more you have to worry about? No? Some American told me, you have $1 more, have $1 more to worry about. Yeah? So I said, yeah, give them all to me. Okay, so it's nice to be able to be free from yourself. Okay? And then the next teaching is the graduate teaching doesn't stop there. It says, move on. There's something called with marks, meaning that you may be empty, but your wife is not empty. You may think of the red car as empty, but your wife doesn't think your red car is empty. And think about it. You may be happy by yourself, but as long as you have a wife, you don't need the red car, but your wife needs a red car. So what are you going to do? Ignore her? Of course not. It's a recipe for disaster. Ask Diego. He'll tell you all about it. You need to learn to respect your wife. Yeah? Huh? Mommy? Okay? So how do you reconcile your emptiness and the non-emptiness of ordinary people? Because we don't live by ourselves. So that's why if you have wisdom, you cannot afford to ignore that others are not empty yet. Am I making sense to you? So that's why the teaching in Buddhism of marks. You learn to, inside, maybe you're not attached to it, but you learn to deal with how others are attached to it. That's our reality. I may be not attached to it, but people want to give me food. If I have wisdom, I'm not going to turn it down. Yeah? Agree? You see? And what's wisdom in turning down good things, even though they're empty? Okay? Yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. Question. So, if one can see everything is empty, and your spouse doesn't feel that way, and they say, come on, I really want you to enjoy eating whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they want you to enjoy it because either they made it or they bought it. They made a special effort for you.
Yes.
So, is it okay to enjoy it too?
Yes.
Yay!
And that's part of wisdom. You learn to enjoy it. Once you detach from it, before, you could not detach from it. Okay, you attach to food. Okay? Talk all you want, but you say you want that, that beer and those appetizers, tapas. Been to Spain? Huh? Okay? So, you attach to it. Okay? You say, I can't live without soju. Okay? And then that's why you need to learn to detach from it. That's when you find happiness actually is internal. It's inside. It's not outside. That's what you're discovering. That's why it's called wisdom. So far, so good. But then, if you were to live by yourself, that should be enough. But you don't. You still love your mother and your father. Even though they're empty, you still love them deep in your heart. Yes? Meaning that, yes, you can sacrifice them. You can throw them off the cliff, push them off the cliff because they're empty. But if you don't have to, it's okay to enjoy them. That's wisdom. Make sense to you? How can you call wisdom when you say, I don't want anything? Is that wisdom? No red cars, no palaces, no Chanel No. 5, no, what's her name? Taylor Swift. No tickets. I don't care. I have wisdom. There's no wisdom in there because you are weird. You have wisdom, how can you come across that weird? Huh? Can be normal? Can you be normal but empty inside? That's exactly what the second level of wisdom. You're empty inside, but you live normally. You can embrace inside is empty, but outside is not. And that's the next level of wisdom. That's called marks. That's a gradual teaching. So once you need to empty yourself, then you need to learn about contemplating marks. You see, why? Because others are still attached to it. You cannot afford to ignore the marks. You need to relate to them at their levels. Because they cannot relate to you at your level, you have to learn to reach out and relate to them at their levels. That's wisdom. Make sense? Settle down. Don't get so excited. Okay? So that's the next level. That's why it's called gradual teaching, because you go gradually. You see this progression, because in Buddhism, we have the experience. You train a lot of people that way, and many got very far. They became Buddhas, actually, quite a few. Okay? And it happened time and time again. So we have a track record of teaching gradually. Next type of teaching is called sudden, because gradual is too slow. Okay? Remember, I've been dropping hints for you for the last 17, 16 years about what? You heard it before. I've been dropping you hints. The reason that I speak all this nonsense and you're not offended and you're not turned off, and most people, when I first started in Lu Mountain Temple, I started talking about these Mahayana concepts, Avatamsaka concepts. People would stand up and leave. Very often, people would come to our lectures for maybe at maximum half an hour. They couldn't take it, including Master YongHua disciples. They couldn't take it. I said, this is too much. This is not the Dharma. Whereas you losers, you special people, keep on coming and coming and coming and coming, right? And at one point in time, I was hoping you'd leave so that I can go to the mountain, honestly. Yeah, I couldn't wait. I said, I will, because I'm being a nice person, okay? In spite of all the hardships, I will wait till the last person leaves. Then I shut down the temple and take off to the mountain. It's always in my dream. Be like, you're a man? You mean a real monk? You live in a mountain, man. What do you need a temple for? Come on. Only whims need temple. You see? So that's why I was always wanted, hoping for the chance to prove myself, my manhood. But not only was there no last person, it's like always several people coming to the temple regardless of how bad it was. And you were there too, during the toughest times. When people slandered me and accused me of this, accused me of that, I said, yeah, believe them, just don't come anymore. And Xianshun would run away, I'm hoping. I pray to Lord, please make her run away. But no. Okay? And so that's why the sudden teaching, you guys hang on because you heard the teaching before, you got a lot out of it before, and you're still not happy because you still haven't got everything out of it yet. Like you did. And that's what I meant by I kept on alluding it to you. You hear, we've been doing this because we've been doing it together already. Okay? For a long, long time. That's why you're still interested, because it sounds familiar to you, sounds right to you in your heart. It doesn't sound right to your ears or your head, but your heart feels good. Whereas most people would listen to this and say, no, this is not the Buddha Dharma. Yeah, they said, this is not how the Dharma has all been explained to me. That's not how the Dharma should be explained. It's never been explained this way before. And never bothered you because you heard it before. Right, Xian Chun? Big liar. You never could get rid of this lying thing. Okay. And so that's what they say. That's what Master Jing Liang says. He says, the second kind of teaching is sudden because you heard it before. So for me, you did it before. So for me to go through steps and steps again, guess what? I lose you. You said, hey, this is for babies. I'm not a baby. Don't treat me like one. Sounds familiar? Huh? And so the sudden teaching is important because of you. You need to go take the leap. That's why you leap from marklessness, okay, meaning emptiness, to marks immediately. You start both of them at the same time. That's called sudden. That's how Master Jing Liang explained it. Okay? Sudden here means that you leap, so whatever you were before, you can leap like that. So your cultivation matters, folks. Whatever you do right now matters forever. And we were thinking of becoming rich. Becoming rich is only a lifetime. One lifetime, that's it. And after you die, there's not much you can do with your money. Okay? Whereas your cultivation, okay, you reach samadhi, 8th samadhi, for example. That means, you know what that means when I tell you that you reach samadhi 8? Means that you have blessings of an 8th level samadhi. Samadhi and blessings are parallel, are in parallel. You cannot get to 8th samadhi unless you have the blessings. Very much like you don't have to have the blessings. You cannot be born as an emperor into the emperor family. Not all of us that can be born as an emperor in the emperor family is from the blessings. You see, emperor is a status. Samadhi is a status, by the way. In the real world, it's not the titles. Samadhi is your status. Did you know that? I told you already. When a group of people get together, okay, the primary determination is what level samadhi you are that provides a ranking for you. It's not how rich you are, how famous you are, how smart you are. It's about your samadhi level. So you see, samadhi level is your status, your stature. It's accompanied by blessings, level blessings. The two are together. Okay, so if I told you your samadhi level is higher than someone, let's say a monk in Taiwan who has 200 temples throughout the world, that means your blessing is far greater than his. Far greater. How come you don't? What happened to your 200 temples, 300 temples? I don't know. If I knew, would I still be here with you? So in theory, you see, understand samadhi and blessings. See that? That's the insights. You see, you're still here. You heard it before. You're going to say, oh, wow, Master, you're full of it. I'm out of here. It's Friday night, man. Saturday morning, man. Yeah? Okay, so that's sudden. Any questions? Gradual and sudden. Yes, 8.
Thank you, Master. Is there, would you say in most situations where, let's say, I guess what I'm wondering, at our temple, it matters that we improve our samadhi level, right? In other temples, is it also the same? Or is it because we're a Chan Pure Land temple it matters?
No, it just matters to me personally, that's all. Most monks and nuns don't talk about levels and improvement because they don't know how. I'm impatient. I don't want to wait forever. I'm here to train you. If you don't improve, I say, I really have no time for you. Okay? Well, you see, it's not surprising to me. Actually, it's kind of sad to me to see how many monks and nuns, including in my peers, who've been monks and nuns for a long time, and they're not improving at all. They're actually regressing. It's atrocious to me. I, as Americanized Asian, find it unacceptable. To me, it's a waste of my life. Okay? I have a hard time with that. That's why I said, enough is enough. It's time for you to wake up. You have to improve. Okay, I'm here to help you improve. You don't improve, maybe you should find a better teacher. Don't waste your time with me, your life with me. Okay? I'm keeping you here because I know I can help. If I can't help, you should leave. When you feel I can't help you, you should leave. But don't waste your life. Don't waste your time. I'm reminding all of you, what's the matter with you? Why aren't you improving? How can you be, cultivating this? When you wear this clothes here, to us, there is a aspiration to reach fourth-day arhatship or empty ourselves of the ego. That's a minimum. Why? We don't stop at there. We want you to go further, go to next levels. Here in 517. Okay? Enough gossiping. Okay? So, you see, gradual and sudden, you see the two different things. When people, for babies, we need to allow the babies to grow. Okay? That's gradual. We have to teach them slowly. Sudden is that we realize you have superior roots. Okay? And therefore, we can be more violent. More blunt. Nicer. All those things. Okay? So that it's sudden. Suddenly, you get it. So far, so good? Any questions? Meaning that, how does it apply to you? Nacho and spaghetti. Nacho grande. How does it apply to you? Okay, we go to JC first and come back to America.
아미타불 마스터, 혹시 금기가 낮은 사람도 동교를 받으면 바로 높은 단계로 도약할 수 있나요?
Master, if I don't have a superior root, but if I receive the sudden teaching, can I also leap?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. My God, why don't anyone ever ask me that question? Who knows the answer? Let me look it up. Talk. Diego, talk.
Thank you, Master. Is it because you have to plant those blessings?
All those things. Continue. What? Oh, excuse me. I got distracted. Okay. So how do you do? So let's say, assuming you have no superior roots, okay? Can you still make a leap? Yes, because how do you know you don't have superior roots? I told you already you have superior roots. That's why you're not scared. Are you kind of stupid or what? The only exception is when you're stupid. Okay? You don't know what I'm talking about. That's why I say, okay. Okay? However, if you feel you're learning, it's because you heard it before. No? Okay. And case number 2. Our teaching, sudden, also includes gradual. Gradual also includes sudden. Okay? It's nothing to worry about. Okay? Don't be so obsessed about gradual versus sudden. Okay? It's not that way. It's not the way it sounds. Buddha's teaching is both gradual and sudden and perfect. It's only because these scholars, they want to sound important and feel superior. That's why I say, you are gradual, we are sudden, but actually you are perfect. Only we are perfect. Okay? They may be sudden, but we are perfect. Anyway, don't worry, I'm joking. Okay? Don't worry about it. Okay? The teaching is all of those. Gradual, sudden, and perfect at the same time. For them to divide into sudden is sort of kind of myopic. But they're Chinese, it's okay. They're Korean, it's okay. We are American, we're different. Okay? Anyone? Good question. Somebody cares. How about Nacho? What do you have to say? Macho, Nacho, Grande. And next we go to Daniel Ribas.
Hello, Master. I don't have much to say. Maybe if I can I ask, how do we know if we are progressing or improving?
How do you know you're improving?
Yeah.
Very simple. Do you feel younger?
I am already young.
You do feel younger, huh?
I'm young, so I feel young.
Okay. This guy's not cooperating. You feel better.
Yeah, I feel better.
Okay, now we're going somewhere. Someone help him out. Is he improving or not? Help him. Okay. One question. At work, do people like you more? He has to think, this is not working.
I don't know, because most of the times I work from home, but I don't think that much about it, so maybe that's good.
You what?
Now I don't worry that much about if they like.
That's good. That's it. With improvement comes the natural ability to get along better with everyone. You learn to get along better with everyone. You know why? Because you are more patient. Improvement, very simple. you have more energy and all those things. But the one common thing is that most people disregard is that you become more patient. You feel more patient. This guy thinks so much.
Sometimes I still get afflicted at job at my work, but yeah, I think I have a little more patient.
The training, Chan training, naturally, one of the few things that very observable is that you will become more patient. You're not as impatient as before. Okay? As a nature of Chan training. If you hang in there, you become more and more patient. Okay? And when you get older, you will look younger.
Okay, I look forward to that.
It doesn't work for everyone. Look at Jung, he's still old. Okay, any other questions? Daniel, what would you have to say? San Jose, Daniel.
About what, Master?
About anything. Life. My God, you guys are so serious. Okay, continuing. Okay, so now we just discuss gradual and sudden, right? You hear these terms, and especially in Chan circles, you hear about these concepts. What are you teaching? We say, oh, we're teaching sudden, but actually it's not true. We're teaching everything. Okay, when you understand a little bit later why we teach everything. Okay, but the Chan people, they seem to be very enamored with sudden teaching. Why? Because the teachers don't know how to do sudden teaching like a 6-page chart, like Master YongHua. Master YongHua, sudden teaching is not bad, but it's nowhere near the level of a 6-page chart, for example. Okay, So that's what people seem to be impressed with, is they said, do you have sudden teaching? And most temples don't. Okay. So number 3 is perfect. Let's go to slide 517. The real Dharma for change. 3, for those who have penetrated through the divided steps leading to the Buddha state above, there is speaking of the thus come one's unobstructed liberations.
3. 位于上达分阶佛境之者，说于如来无碍解脱。
Okay. Wow, she sounds so articulate. I thought you sound different. Is that the volume is the sound or what? Anyway. So the third teaching is perfect teaching. It's reserved for those who have penetrated through the divided steps leading to the Buddha state above. This refers to, the perfect teaching is reserved for the bodhisattvas. Those are the people who are enlightened. So you need to keep them hooked with the perfect teaching. Meaning what? The perfect teaching talks about state of Buddhas, which bodhisattvas don't understand. Okay, they have a glimpse of some of the aspects of the Buddha, but they don't understand. So that's why they want to hear more of the state of a Buddha is like in this sutra. Avatamsaka Sutra is about state of the Buddhas. That's why bodhisattvas gather. Every time Buddha speaks of Avatamsaka Sutra, all bodhisattvas gather to listen with rapture. They say, wow, Buddhas are cool. Okay? So that's a perfect teaching. It's for the enlightened beings. Okay? And they talk about the thus come ones, the Buddha's unobstructed liberations. Okay? Buddhas is unstoppable. It's way beyond our imagination. It's inconceivable, the state of a Buddha. Okay? And it takes a kind of boundless, no lack of boundaries, of infinite state of being, okay, that would impress bodhisattvas. You're not going to impress bodhisattva with red cars and temples and, material things. You impress them by showing them how limited they are. You see? You say, you ain't know nothing yet, boy. You think you're cool? You're nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. You're so small. Your mind is so small. Okay? It's too Korean. All right? Next. The virtues of the ultimate function, the utmost perfection of secret and sovereign Dharma door, and so it is called perfect.
究竟果德，圆寂秘密自在法门，故名为圆。
Okay. So when you talk about Buddha, first of all, unlimited liberations is nothing that can obstruct or hamper or limit the Buddhas. It's a state of boundlessness or infinity, if you will. It's a state, not a concept, folks. When mankind talk about infinity, mathematicians talk about infinity, it basically is a mental construct. It's only here in their mind. They cannot imagine what it is. Buddhas are infinite. It's not a concept, it's a state of being. Okay? And what else to talk about in the perfect teaching? The virtues, the ultimate fruition. The Buddha fruition there, okay, was arrived upon by accruing limitless virtues. Meaning what? You keep on creating virtues and virtues and virtues until you stop asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Isn't this enough? Isn't it enough? You stop asking that, then you understand the virtues of the ultimate fruition. Don't say that, I've helped you with this. Isn't that enough? Answer is no. Okay? See, because you still see, you still count. Okay? Virtues are limitless. The utmost perfection of secret and sovereign Dharma doors. Whatever Buddha did to become a Buddha has to refine his weaknesses and more his weaknesses. Okay? Perfect everything he practiced. Okay? What kind of practices they do? Secret. What's secret? Secret meaning that we don't understand. Only Buddhas understand. We don't understand. Bodhisattvas cannot understand. Doesn't matter. They think they understand, but they don't. That's why it's called secret. Only Buddhas understand. And sovereign Dharma door, sovereign is supreme, is nothing higher. Nothing that can surpass this kind of practice. So Buddhas engaged in superior practices. They're unsurpassed. They're ultimate. It takes an ultimate Dharma door, an ultimate practice in order for you to get there. And only Buddhas know. That's how they train the Bodhisattvas. So far so good? That's why it's called perfect. Buddhas are perfection. Okay, rarely do you find Buddhism You hear the word perfection actually quite often, but perfection here refers to the Buddhas in Buddhism. Because below Buddhas, no one is perfect. Questions, comments? How come there's so many people during Dharma lecture and no one cultivates chant at all? You see, like it's just the opposite here. Way Mountain Temple. Way Mountain Temple, during ceremonies we have a lot of people. During Dharma talk and lecture, very few people. But the Asians, look, Asians in Go Forest, Asians in Korea, they like the sutra lectures more than the others. Okay. Anyway, just an observation. 521. This is also simply saying that the manner of teachings adhered to a sequence.
此意曰化仪，说有前后耳。
Okay, 522. So Master Jing Liang, the author of this prologue here, paper, writing, he says, these scholars, their weakness, like Dharma Master Wang Tong, he classified as gradual, and this is very, very popular way to classify the Buddha Dharma, by the way. When you learn the Buddha Dharma, especially Chan, you hear of gradual and sudden, right? Okay, so it's very, very popular. When Master Wang Tong classification, that group of people, the gradual, meaning stepwise, you go from small to great to perfect, okay? It's about the period, the Agama period, Vaipulya. Don't worry about what it means, okay? There's some phases, a time period where when the Buddha was preaching, and the scholars classify them as the Agama period and Vaipulya period, okay? And then sudden enlightenment is a Prajna period, okay? That's another period of time after. And perfect is a Lotus Sutra teaching, okay? So, according to Master Wang Tong, he classified it by the three things: gradual, sudden, or perfect. Okay, and that's how the Buddha taught. Gradual is stepwise, sudden is leaps, and perfect is state of Buddha's infinity. Okay, and so he says, if they explained it using a timeline where it first started by gradual and by sudden, by perfect, as per the Buddha's teachings, then they're wrong. Actually, Buddha's taught based on potentials. Meaning what? Meaning how much you can absorb. So remember earlier question I had to Google. It says if I don't think I'm certain kind of material, but can I learn certain? And then eventually I can make some progress certainly. Okay, and the answer is yes, maybe. Okay, I answer yes, but now I say maybe. It's true, because Buddha, when he taught people, he combined both gradual, sudden, and perfect. There's no timeline, there's no sequence at all. It depends on what it refers to is how much can you absorb today. Let's say you just ate lunch, like in Korea. How was lunch today, Koreans? Okay? See, it's good, right? You ate a lot, right? You're full. And when you're full stomach, you think we're going to be stupid enough to tell you a lot of things, advanced notions about Buddha Dharmas? No, we tell you only shallow things, because that's all you can absorb. You see that? Otherwise, you get indigestion. You understand the analogy? Huh? We only teach people based on how much they can absorb, not how much you know or you want them to know. The good teachers are but the ones that teach you only enough because they don't want to waste their time. It's sacrilegious to waste your time and their time. Okay? Got that? Okay? So the teaching is never purely gradual or sudden or perfect. It's always bodhisattvas. Sometimes you need to be taught gradually because they're depressed. What are you going to do? You know, when bodhisattvas are depressed, there's no talking to them. They say, I don't want to talk to you. Can I just be by myself? Please leave me alone. So you want to talk to them? No, you can't. You have to talk to me. Hey, where is not feeling good right now? And so you gradually help them open up. Okay? You see? So each one of us needs to go through all three phases. Because if you can absorb it, go slow. That's gradual. Yes? If your head is clear and you're ready and you've been working hard, you've been accruing your blessings, boom! Sudden teaching. Okay? And then when you feel so special, like a bodhisattva, you say, I'm a bodhisattva? Huh? Don't you? No? Okay? Some people say, hey, I'm really a bodhisattva. That's when you give them the perfect teaching. Why? Because if they're bodhisattva, they're supposed to listen to it. And what you do? You plant the seeds in them. So Buddhist teaching varies from gradual, sudden, and perfect because they're it boils down to is the kind of seeds you're giving to them. It's not just results. It's just like sometimes they're willing to listen. They say, I know you're not a bodhisattva yet, but can I talk to you about the Avatamsaka Sutra? What are we doing here? Huh? Sudden teaching. I mean, it's a perfect teaching. But for you who are not even bodhisattvas. Get it? I rest my case. Applause. Too late. So slow. People are so slow. Okay? So he says, that's what Master Jing Liang says. No, it's about Buddha is very, very wise. He teaches people based on your capacity to absorb. Or if you can, even if you cannot benefit from it now, I still need to plant the seeds in you. Okay? Because there's a plan. We don't leave you alone. We quietly help you. Got that? Nacho Grande? And Korean? Don't think so, don't sell yourself short. We all are worthy of gradual, sudden, and perfect teaching. Don't believe anyone who tells you otherwise. Okay? All right, next. This 523. This is also simply saying that the manner of teaching adhere to a sequence. Again, Master Jing Liang says, your classification is based on timelines. It's nonsense. You don't need to teach first gradual and then sudden and then perfect. It's nonsense. There's no such a thing. Okay? Remember, teaching is not only about your getting it right away, but also plant the seeds for you to get even later. Okay? So, here's what happens. Even if you don't get the perfect teaching, for example, because you're not a bodhisattva yet, you still hear this perfect teaching that's planted the seeds for you here. Okay? And you know what? In the future, The seeds are here in the future. Condition will arise where the seeds will ripen and you become a bodhisattva just like that. So are you knowing that? Are you going to say, oh, my level is too low. Please don't, I don't want to hear anything but low level stuff. Right? Of course not. You want to hear all the good stuff. 524. The meaning is clearly that those who are now capable of receiving the Son certainly received the teachings in the past, so that the roots are said to have ripened.
一名今时堪受顿者，必习曾受化，故以根熟上达之言。
See, that's a Buddhist jargon. Your roots have ripened, meaning that you received them in the past already. Okay? You have the blessings in the past. Remember, you're born here, your level, samadhi level is low, but your blessings are still here in your profile, your personnel jacket. So now, with a certain teaching or perfect teaching, boom, you go up right here. Got that? And so that's why do not sell yourself short. Yes, right now you're short and you're stupid and you're ugly. But doesn't mean that you cannot absorb the perfect teaching or certain teaching. Questions or comments? Reishi, what do you think? How is mommy? Yes, go first. We'll come back to DTT later. Macho Nacho.
Yeah. So how?
Yep, that's you. Macho Nacho.
Yeah, that's me.
You know what macho nacho means? Never mind. Go on.
And so, how was the Buddha able to teach? Like, for example, if he has in the assembly people from that are low level and people that are high level, how is he able to teach all of them at the same time?
He's able to teach them all at the same time because he has spiritual powers. He only says one sound, and each one of us will understand at our own level. That's Buddha's spiritual penetrations. Only Buddhas can do that. Bodhisattvas can't.
Okay, thank you, Master.
You're welcome. Okay, so so he says now you heard of this teaching before, and that's why you can have superior penetration of the Dharma. You heard in the past. You heard it already. And that's. Can I share your personal experience? This is what troubled me when I first started. When I joined, when I became a monk, I was enamored with Master Hsuan. I was so impressed with him because he's the only person in my entire life who has no ego whatsoever. He's so plain. He's so unimpressive for a big monk. He's totally unimpressive. He's the antithesis of a great monk. So I was so enamored with it. Wow, this monk is so special, okay? And he's the only person who that you feel like he's like he's such a high stature, but he appears to behave like a normal person. I was so impressed. So I started learning more about his teachings. And the more I learned, I said, wow, these insights about Mahayana are incredible. They're about the things that addresses my problems in life that no one ever told me before and I thought could not be solved. Okay? And I was so intrigued by that. I said, wow, this is so fascinating. And if it requires me to get a high level of samadhi to understand, let me get the samadhi. Let me become a monk to get the samadhi and to get the training from him. That was my impetus. Okay, I said, this is so cool. The teaching is so cool, and then the chant makes him feel so good, like nothing else before. All the sensual pleasures, are nothing compared to the chant pleasures. So I became a monk, hoping to get more of it. Very practical, what's the point in becoming a monk unless you get more out of it, okay? And so I became a monk, and my teacher within 3 months died. I said, what? I gave up all my life to go to a dead end? But then he said, don't worry, my students will teach you, will train you. I said, whoopee, this is wonderful, okay? And just in case they don't, I started looking around just in case. You never know. You always, you have a plan B. You don't always, have one path. I look around for other teachers, and I was unimpressed with all the other teachers. Vietnamese, Chinese, Taiwanese, Japanese, American, Thai, you name it. I look. I say, wow, Master YongHua is still by far the best. Okay? So I looked at it. I said, okay. So I look at his disciples and said, train me, man, training. Aren't you supposed to train me? Okay? And so they started to train me, of course. Huh? Like Master YongHua said. And then I said, say what? Your explanation of Master YongHua's teaching is wrong. I was telling myself, you don't get it. How could you explain it to me? You don't understand. How could you explain it to me? Because you got it all wrong. You think you understand chant. You don't understand his chant at all. Me, as a novice, as a punk, looking at a great Dharma master, great disciple of his, and says, you don't understand chant at all. How can you possibly teach me? I demand better than this. So for 4 years, I was disappointed. One thing after another guy, they all disappointed me. Okay? And I couldn't understand why. I said, why am I so arrogant? They're supposed to be senior monks who are very respected and feared, like who can instill the fear of God in you. But I look at them and say, really? Is that all you got? They beat on me and say, really? You can't even hurt me? And now he explains why. Because I heard his teaching before they did. I practiced his teaching before they did. You see? So my blessing is up here, but my level is down here. Okay? So they're trying to teach me. Their level is here. They try to teach me. Okay? But my blessing says, I ain't following your path. You understand? This is slow. No. Okay? So if I followed my path, my own path. And of course, no one likes you because of it. Yes, 8.
Master, wasn't that really discouraging for you? I mean, you changed your whole life.
No. Actually, I was very calm. I said, damn, what am I going to do now? I never panicked. So I started looking. I said, because the teaching is there. It says, if you want to learn, find a good no advisor. If he's not there, find the next one. The teaching, I still follow his teaching. So I looked and looked for a good no advisor. I kept on looking. I went everyone to look. So I followed his teaching. And finally, since I couldn't find anything, I said, well, you it, short one. I'm going to follow your teaching because I cannot find anyone else. The only thing I have is your teaching. So I follow his teaching. Okay? And so, because the other people who offered me temples and cars and, and all sorts of things and disciples and all sorts of things, okay? I looked at them and said, "Is that all? Is that all you got? If I go into here, I need now to serve these people because they owe me. Why would I? Okay, and so that's what happened to many of you as well. You have your roots ripened. That's why you came and you stayed. Okay, and I know when you get tired of me, you move on, and that's part of life. I will miss you though. Never mind. Got that? So in Buddhism, you cannot force it. If your roots ripen, you can leap very easily. It is for all of us. It's not just about me, about everyone. It's the case with everyone. You never know. Buddhism, you never know. Buddhism is a combination of both gradual, sudden, and perfect at the same time. There's no discrimination. Okay? 526. To say that there is penetration above means all of those before the grounds. The divided steps leading to the Buddha state are just those above the grounds. This also connects with principles.
意间地前分皆佛境，即为地上与理一通。
And the English is a little bit wacko, okay, a little bit nonsense, and that's would add to the confusion. What he's talking about is that, do you remember there's a Shangda, okay? I mean, it says the superior penetration. It refers to those people who have heard it before, okay? Shangda here, superior penetration also applies to the lower level as well, meaning that even though at lower level your penetration is even is deeper. Okay, but the concepts here for your reference. This is important for you to internalize. In the hierarchy of things. Okay? For you, before you become enlightened, in the path here that the Bodhisattvas reveal for us, okay, includes 4 phases, very important. 3 phases are 10 dwellings, 10 positions, 10 conducts, 10 transferences. And this is what this Avatamsaka Sutra is about. We teach you about these things. Okay? And those are the 30 positions before you become enlightened. Okay? So all those before the grounds are the 10 grounds, are the 10 positions of enlightenment, levels of enlightenment. That's why they call 10 grounds. So 10 dwellings are the 10 positions of dwelling, different levels of dwellings, 10 levels of conducts, 10 levels of transferences. Then you have 10 levels of grounds. See? So there's a clearly delineated hierarchy of progression. Okay? Don't worry. Well, you know, you've been through it. Most of you've been through this before, so it's not a big deal. Don't worry. Okay? Don't panic. Okay? And then it's referring to the next concept of the Buddha state, meaning that the grounds here, remember the 40 different positions, 10 dwellings, okay? That's 10 dwellings, 10 conducts at 20 positions, 10 transfers at 30 positions, 10 grounds at 40 positions, right? And then there's also wonderful enlightenment, and then equal enlightenment. That's 42 positions altogether. Okay, so there's in the spiritual world, there's clear delineation of statures where you are. So far, so good. Okay, so it's detailed in the sutra. Whether you know it or not is irrelevant. So far, so good. Okay. 528. The third, Dharma Master Ji Zhang, from the end of the Sui and the beginning of the Tang, who based upon the fifth row of the Dharma flower, set up 3 turnings of the Dharma wheels.
3. 隋末唐初吉藏法师依法华第五立3种法轮。
Okay, 529. We're still in the classification of the Buddha's teaching into 3 groups, right? Remember the last one we learned is sudden, gradual, and perfect. Okay, that those are very popular types of classifications that most people use because it's intuitively appealing to most people. Okay, even though it's inaccurate. The third group of masters who divided the Buddhist teaching into 3 is based on the Dharma Flower Sutra. Okay, again, this is scholarly things. Don't worry, okay? Just be exposed to it. And so, Dharma Flower on the 5th row or the chapter 15, he set up the 3 turnings, Dharma wheels, so 3 different types of teachings. Okay, what are they? 530. 1, that from the time they first saw me and heard what I said, they immediately believed and accepted it and entered into the thus come one's wisdom, constitutes the Dharma wheel of the fundamental root.
1. 始见我身，闻我所说，即皆信受，入如来会及根本法轮。
Okay, so I will go through this because this is not popular as nonsense. Okay, so let's go through this quickly. Okay, if you don't mind. You probably hear this and you probably won't hear it again, but we should hear it so that when people come and try to harass us, say, you don't know anything about Buddha Dharma? I say, hey, I know about the Dharma wheel of the fundamental root, do you? Huh? See? This is when you can impress people when you don't have to work hard. You throw a name at them and say, I'm prepared to talk to you about sudden and gradual teaching, but you talk about Dharma wheel of fundamental root. Okay? So basically, it says the basic root of the Dharma door is that they believe what the Buddha said. Yeah. It says Buddha, whatever he says, I believe. Okay? At low level, I say, oh, Buddha, I like you. Oh, your hair looks nice. You know? Your skin is so white when we're all brown. Okay? Buddha's, I had to ask the people, Buddha's skin back then, was he dark or white? What do you think? Or yellow, for that matter. Reishi, we're back to you. What do you think? The Buddha's skin, was it dark, white, or zebra?
White.
Why?
I heard somebody said that when Ananda spoke Dharma after Buddha passed, people thought that it was Buddha speaking. One of the reasons is that Ananda was white, and that means the Buddha was white skinned.
Ananda was white? Ananda was Indian. How can he be white? What are you talking about?
I heard somewhere that he is white skinned, although he is Indian.
It's true. The Indians, they have some who are from Germany. There are some, transplants. It's not uncommon for them to have, transplants all over. Okay? So yes, his skin was kind of lighter. Let's not call it white, because the Indians might be offended. But race or racist, it doesn't bother him. Okay? So anyway, so people look at a Buddha and say, I believe you. You're a spiritual teacher. Okay? Basic Dharma root. That's an entry point. 2, that casting aside the formal study and practice of the small vehicle constitute the Dharma wheel of the branches and branch tips.
2. 除先修习学小圣者及知末法轮。
Okay, another concept. It says, second group is Dharma wheel, the branches and branch tips. Okay, remember the first one, the fundamental root. Okay, that's the starting point. And then next one is branches and branch tips. It refers to the small vehicle, the Hinayana, Theravada, whatever they want to call it. Okay. And so he says this particular teaching here is you have to cast out the branches and branch tips, because what refers to in a tree, the core of the tree is the trunk and the roots. The branches are the results of the trunks and the roots. So you want to appreciate the tree, the core and the roots are key, not the branch tips. So what happens, the people who learn Buddhism and learn only Hinayana and Theravada and so forth, they're learning about the outside, the branch tips. They're not learning the core principles of Buddhism. That's why they need to shed the attachment to the outside and go deeper inside. Okay? 534, 3, that I now also cause them to hear the sutra, the Dharma wheel gathering in the branch tips to return them to the root.
3. 我今亦令得闻是经入于佛会及摄末归本法轮。
Okay, very good. 535. So the third group is that according to this Dharma Flower Sutra or Lotus Sutra, it quotes, it says, I now cause them, the Buddha says, I now cause them to hear this Lotus Sutra so that I can gather back these Hinayana people into, back to the trunk and the root. Okay? From this, so the concept of going from small, turning back from the small towards a great vehicle. Okay? So you have these concepts here, you should know. Branching and branch tips. And those are the concepts. When you are learning the Buddhism and you're learning Hinayana, Theravada, you're learning about branches and branch tips, meaning they're not the main studies. And then for Mahayana, that's not be derogatory and criticize them. We're supposed to learn Mahayana to help these people gather in from branch tips back to the root. That's our role. Okay? They heard it, the branch tips teaching, but they stopped prematurely, they stopped too soon. So now it's our jobs to bring them back home. Okay? It's no competition, there's no rivalry, there's no jealousy. If something good happened to them, we have 20 temples, 200 temples, we're happy for them. We're not jealous. They say, how come they have more wisdom? How come they have more blessing, but they have more temples than I, more disciples, they're more famous than me? Because they need it, you don't. Idiot. Can you imagine going to lunch and have to lunch with 5,000 people? They're looking at you. Look what the Buddha is eating. Look at the way he holds his chopsticks. Where did he learn how to hold chopsticks like that? You see, God, you're under scrutiny all the time. You step out and somebody will give you your shoes right away. Is there any privacy anymore? Got that? Wouldn't that be scary? You see that? So those people who enjoy it, say, I have 15,000 fans. Or Taylor Swift, how many million fans she has per concert? Okay. Can you imagine you living like that? Anyway, it's because they need it. That's what turns them on. And once you have it, they go back home and say, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And then what do? Because it's still tomorrow, man. It's still tomorrow's concert. Okay. Got that? So you hear the concepts, branch and branch tips, meaning you're not learning the principal things. That's what Hinayana and Theravada are teaching. That's why you should embrace them. Don't criticize them. Tibetan, so forth, all those things, they're not the real deal. So the Dharma wheel here is, for us, Mahayana, is to figure out ways to get them back, bring them back, okay? And show them a much better time. Okay? Hey, girl. You having a good time? Yeah. See? I see she's nodding her head. 536. This determination is entirely based upon the manner of teaching. In terms of Dharma, there is only great and small.
此判全约化仪，具法但有大小。
Okay, so Dharma Master Jing Liang here, the author, says Dharma Master Wang Tong and Dharma Master Ji Zhang are basing the classification on the Buddha's manner of teaching. Okay, but actually it's not necessary. In the nature of teaching, you have small, because the capacity to absorb is small versus big. Okay, their capacity to absorb is infinite. That's why it's called big. It's very humble. Small is fractal. Big is humble. All right? Questions and comments? Can we try to... we can't finish it. Can we finish this? I don't want to go back here, because every time I have to summarize for you, I have to go back to 3 teachings, the 2 teachings, the 12 teachings, and so forth. Moreover, the Dharma flower is opening and revealing a root of the friend, and the branch tips are just one kind. If one were to make a fixed determination on a sacred teaching on the single generation, the meaning bestowed would not be exhausted, because before the Dharma flower, there was also the grade.
然法华位于一类开显本末，若将定判一代圣教，收益不尽，以法华之前亦有大故。
Okay, 539. Basically, he's saying that the teaching, you cannot classify them simply by classifying the way they do. Basically here, the teaching is that for those whose roots have ripened, you open the provisional to reveal the actual, open the near to reveal the far. And so that's what he meant by opening the branch tips to reveal the root. Okay? Meaning that you use it as a temporary expedient to lead people to the real deal. And 540, as to the prajna and so forth, being branches and branch tips, there's also limitless meanings, which says, because the Buddha at all times spoke the great and small.
起般若等皆为之末，又无量义云：佛一切时说大小故。
Okay, and 541, finally, the great master Jingyang says, don't think of these division into three types of teachings is correct, because basically it's not. Because at all times, the Buddha was speaking without discrimination. He doesn't look at you small or big, okay, or perfect. He looks at you as a person that should be taught according to your abilities and your blessings. Okay, so the Buddha has his genius looking at us and said, I decided to speak to you about the Avatamsaka Sutra today, even though you are not ready yet. Okay, he can discern that. He's not confused by appearances, like how short you are and how poor you are and so forth. There's no discrimination. Look at you and he knows exactly what to do, what to teach you. Okay? So there's no need to classify them. To classify the Buddha's teaching shows your stupidity. Because his teaching is about between him and each person. It's not. He cannot lump them together. You see the problem? Remember, the principle is one sound. Everyone understands at their own levels, their own capacity. How can you classify that? It's impossible. Yes, 6.
Thank you, Master. And it's also fascinating that at the same time, it's planting seeds of sudden and perfect teaching.
At all times. And it's not why I didn't tell you is that when he planted those seeds, he actually in his vision he saw how they're gonna mature already. That's why you need to hear the prajna now. You need to hear lotus now. You need to hear Avatamsaka Sutra now, because he saw that happening already. The Buddha's wisdom is incredible. He looks at you and says, and that's it. You're done, man. You're saved. No matter what YongHua does to you, no matter what his disciple did do to you, they can't touch you. Very much like Buddha probably did it to me as well. That's why Master Shima's disciple cannot touch me. See, that's why I'm immune to whatever they say and they did to me. And it's for all of us. I'm just sharing you my personal experience. Funny thing is that all the hardship and all the heartbreaks, it never bothered me. It's just like, okay, if it doesn't work this way, let's go the other way. And let's figure it out. You know what I mean? Huh? Hey? We okay, we good, man. Thank you, everyone. We stop here tonight.